indicated proposals for the Department of Education going forward. Can we count on receiving those proposals as they are made? We've asked for that information.
We'd certainly like to comply with Congress and provide you with those. Proposal for workforce development.
Do I understand that to be a yes? It's about a 33% cut?
I will get back to you if it's different than that. Is reappropriated, that we would be able to change that language and go in and understand the full accountability of the programs.
On student loans, will you commit to working with us? There are about 2 million student loan borrowers who have applied for income-driven repayment plans. We're caught up in a backlog. Can we count on you to work with us to make sure they're not disadvantaged?
In a recent congressional oversight hearing, Representative Bobby Scott, the ranking member of the House Committee on Education and the Workforce, questioned the United States Secretary of Education about a range of critical issues affecting American students and families. These hearings serve as a vital part of the checks and balances in government, ensuring that federal agencies follow the law, spend public funds properly, and remain accountable to the American people. The discussion focused on major policy decisions and budget proposals that could have far-reaching consequences for education programs nationwide. Among the central concerns were proposed cuts to workforce development programs, potential reductions in federal student aid like Pell Grants, TRIO, and work-study programs, and how these changes could affect access to higher education, especially for students from low-income backgrounds.
I recognize my friend, the ranking member, representative from Virginia, Mr. Scott.
Thank you, and thank you, Madam Secretary, for being with us today. I have a lot of questions, and hopefully I can get some quick answers. I try to phrase them in a way that they can get some quick answers. Do you intend to comply with the May 22nd court order?
The May 22nd, in which we are joined in this particular aspect, can you be more specific? The
court order issued on May 22nd requiring you to, that prevented you from dismantling the department?
Oh, right. Yes, we will always comply with the law.
Okay, and you indicated proposals for the Department of Education going forward. Can we count on receiving those proposals as they are made? We've asked for that information.
We'd certainly like to comply with Congress and provide you with those.
Can we get a commitment from you that you will cooperate with the Office of Inspector General and the Department of Education as the law requires?
Yes, as the law requires, we will.
On the budget, under the 2026 budget, a lot of workforce development programs are combined. When the dust settles, do we understand that there will be about a 33% cut in workforce development programs?
We are looking at workforce development and wanting to make sure that it's treated fairly. You know, right now, the United States government is paying, taxpayers are footing the bill for about 75% of that, and we want to reverse that. We want the businesses or the universities to pay the 75%, and taxpayers would pay the 25%. So I think that's a better proposal for workforce development.
Do I understand that to be a yes? It's about a 33% cut?
I will get back to you if it's different than that.
In the pending reconciliation bill, that's the one that has tax breaks for the wealthy and cuts in health care and Medicaid. CBO says at least 13 million people will lose their insurance. It's probably going to be more than that because changes were made in the bill. SNAP benefit cuts and access to college with cuts in student loans and Pell Grants. Does the 2026 budget cut Pell and work study on top of those cuts?
You know, I would really appreciate the opportunity to respond to those if they were written questions, because I think we can explain them better, and I can work with you on that.
Title I, you said it was level funding. Do I assume that means that it was protected? Do I assume that means it was level funded without an adjustment for inflation?
For 1A.
No adjustment for inflation?
No, it's level funded.
Okay. TRIO, You've said publicly that there were problems with evaluating the programs. Does the Department of Education now evaluates TRIO programs for effectiveness?
We would like to be able to look at them and have full accountability for those programs. And we are precluded from doing that right now by the way that TRIO is structured.
Some of us believe that the department has evaluations right there in the Department of Education. Do you deny that they exist?
Well, there are some evaluations that are in to get TRIO going, but in terms of the longer effective TRIO, there's specific language that prevents us from doing it. So I would like to have the ability, if TRIO is reappropriated, that we would be able to change that language and go in and understand the full accountability of the programs.
On student loans, will you commit to working with us? There are about 2 million student loan borrowers who have applied for income-driven repayment plans or caught up in a backlog. Can we count on you to work with us to make sure they're not disadvantaged?
Representative Scott also raised serious questions about the Department of Education's compliance with a May 22 N court order preventing it from dismantling certain parts of its structure. He pushed for assurances that the department would fully cooperate with both Congress and the Office of Inspector General in providing information and complying with legal obligations. Additionally, the hearing addressed the backlog in processing income-driven repayment plans for student borrowers, potentially affecting millions. Concerns about civil rights enforcement under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 were also raised, particularly regarding whether required reports to Congress were being properly submitted. While the Secretary generally affirmed the department's commitment to following the law, many responses deferred specifics, with a promise to provide more details in writing. This exchange reflects ongoing debates over funding priorities, educational access, and the federal government's responsibility to protect civil rights, especially for vulnerable populations. The outcome of these discussions will shape the educational and economic future for millions of Americans.
We're working relative to all of those loans that are in default with several different programs for repayment, and we urge students who have borrowed money and are in default now to go to our...
They're in a backlog, so you work with us to make sure they're not just caught up in that. I had a Title VI question, and that is that, is it true that the Office of Civil Rights investigates allegations of violations of Title VI?
The Office of Civil Rights at the Department of Education, yes, we do that.
On Title VI, are you aware of the process that requires you to, according to the law, in case of any action terminating or refusing to grant or continue assistance because of failure to comply with a requirement, the head of the federal agency must file with the committees of the House and Senate having legislative jurisdiction over the program or activity involved a full written report of the circumstances and grounds for such action. No such action shall become effective until 30 days have elapsed after the filing of such report. Do you know if the Department of Education has filed a report with this committee on any action you've taken?
We may very well have done that. I'd like to get back to you just to assure you that my answer is correct.
Is
The gentleman's time has
Can I ask
expired.
just one more quick question, and that is lack of viewpoint diversity a violation of Title VI?
The gentleman's time has expired, and I'll ask the secretary to respond later.